All right, folks, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. We are going to have a very disappointing, non-eventful stream for you today. So if you came here expecting to see the nanobots in my body turn me into a zombie or my head to explode, I hate to apologize to you in advance, but it's going to be a nothing burger. That being said, let's have a little bit of fun today, and let's talk about this whole thing. And I got a poll going at the top of chat there for Friday's live stream. I would like you to please, if you're watching this, vote in the poll. A couple things to address before we even go ahead and get started. Number one, if you are having any audio issues in the chat, if you can't hear me or anything like that, just let me know. As soon as I get some confirmation that my audio is coming through okay, I'll ditch the headphones, so lest I don't get accused of like wearing like head protecting um, headphones or something crazy like that, right? If I have any mods show up today, this is not my usual stream time, so I don't know if they'll show up or not. But if they do, please be kind to the mods. You're always welcome to disagree with me in the chat or in comments. I don't mind that. I welcome a little bit of disagreement. I enjoy a little bit of debate, and occasionally, sometimes people in the audience will throw something at me, and I'll say, "Well, you know what? I'm going to give that some thought. Maybe I hadn't been thinking about it the right way." So you're welcome to, but be prepared that this stream is very much going to be the whole purpose of this. If you watched Friday's live stream, was to appreciate that. Thank you, Lee. The whole purpose of this stream was to show you that there really is nothing to be afraid of. That being said, I've got some sound confirmation there. Let's go ahead and ditch these. Don't really need them unless I have a guest on, really. And a couple other things to go through in just housekeeping stuff. So any racist or sexist stuff, I delete. So just kind of, you can disagree. You can be even mean to me. I really don't care. Just I have those couple little rules for you. And what else? So what are we expecting today? So I guess we'll just go there. So today they're doing the test of the emergency broadcast system. Now, this is a little bit different because typically that goes through your TV and your radio. And then every 3 years by federal law, they are required to test it through phones as well. Now, if you've been around a while and you've had a smartphone for a while, you probably remember this has been done before. This is probably the first one that's been done since most of the country is now on 5G. Most of the US is on 5G, except for maybe some really rural areas. So that probably added to, there's always been some controversy about 5G, but it's really much ado about nothing. All of the things that people said was going to happen with 5G hasn't really happened. The one thing that did happen that came true is that, at least in the beginning, there was some interference with some of the equipment on planes. I haven't followed that story to know if that's still going on. I assume that it's not. But other than that, there was all these things like that our brains were going to melt and all these other things that were going to happen with 5G that, obviously we're all still here. So they're going to test it. It should go off at 2:20, and I need to let you know that I'm on my lunch break at work. I actually changed my schedule around today so that I could do this with you. And I'm going to check chat there in a second. I see a few people popping in. Appreciate you all joining me. But I'm on my lunch break, so it's like literally as soon as this test is over, I got to roll, folks. I got to get back to work. And so 2:25 probably the latest that I can stay on. Now, if for some reason the FEMA has to delay it, there's not much I can do about this. I have to go back to work. But I don't think that's going to happen. Everything that I read this morning says that it's on target to go off at 2:20. So what do I have going on here? I have actually two phones, one on either side of me. One is my work phone and one is my personal phone. So if something bad happens, I'm going to get a double whammy, but nothing bad is going to happen. And if it does, then you're going to get a great show. So I checked this morning, my alerts are turned on, so the tones should go off. I'll try to keep that as far away from the mic as I can because I know it could be loud, and I apologize in advance if that goes off. And I'm assuming that if you're watching this, you probably have your phones turned on as well. So just be aware that at 2:20, we're probably going to get a lot of noise. We knew that was going to happen. That was the whole point of this, right? So why is this important? Well, let's go to chat first, and then we'll talk about why this actually matters, why the prepping community really should be taking a different kind of stance on this. I saw a few people pop in early. Chrome Dome Omega, it's good to see you as always. Appreciate you. Yeah, you might see old Sarge turn into a zombie today. It'd be pretty funny. Chipper, good to see you. John 146, thank you so much for joining in. You know, and just to be fair, like, you know, we preppers, we do love our conspiracy theories. We really do. I've talked many times about how I personally believe that JFK assassination, that, you know, Oswald did not act alone. And people might say, well, you know, Sarge, you're kind of being a little bit paranoid there or whatever. Okay, that's fine. So we do love our conspiracy theories, but some get a little bit more outrageous than others. And this one, unfortunately for me, falls under the like really outrageous category. All the different things that I read that, you know, it was going to activate nanobots in my body, and people's heads are going to explode. Zombies were going to walk the earth. The blackout, it was going to black out the entire United States. So none of that is going to happen, of course. But if it does, then I apologize in advance. And again, you'll get a great stream. So let's see. So again, poll at the top. Check that out when you get a chance. Lee, thank you for joining me. Appreciate you. Steve, good to see you. Appreciate you. I hope you brought some fudge rounds for the show. Let's see what else. No, yeah, no worries, Lee. I know this is not my normal time, and I appreciate anyone that's given up a little bit of their time to be here for this. Alabama Farm Life, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Lazarus Long. Yeah, so one of the theories there that was that the nanotech was going to turn people into zombies. That was one of the theories, right? Like it gets far fetched, folks. You know. Now the problem with this is like I I'm just going to go ahead and delve into this. That I do think that we, the citizens of the United States, have a right to have some discussions about things that have been pretty controversial. And I do think this is, again, my personal opinion, not representative of any of the brands that I work with or any of the companies that I have worked with in the past, present, or future. My personal opinion, speaking only for myself, is that you have a right to choose what goes in your body, right? And so you guys know what I'm talking about here, right? We should be able to have a legitimate discussion about that. Uh, but when we get really far fetched with this stuff, then it takes away from legitimate discussion. And it also takes away from people who are maybe on the fringe of thinking about getting into emergency preparedness. And they say, look at this like crazy stuff, you know, and I hate to say it like that, but that's how some people are going to look at it. And they're going to be like, I don't want to be associated with that. I don't want, and so it turns people away from prepping, which is really bad. Because if you have a channel and your channel is about prepping, you know that our main goal is to get people prepared, and that yes, we know bad things are going to happen. As bad as this screen behind me, hopefully not. Could it? Yeah, it could, obviously. But we also know that certain things are guaranteed to happen: storms, recession. We're going to have flu epidemics. Like all of this stuff is going to happen. We're in the middle of a recession right now, regardless of what the pretty talking heads on TV try to tell you. We are in a recession. Are you struggling? Is your spending money much less powerful than it was just a couple of years ago? Okay. Is your wages keeping up with inflation? Okay. Now, the true definition of a recession historically has been three consecutive quarters of a negative domestic growth, right? Negative GDP. We passed that. We passed that a while ago, and they decided to change the definition of a recession when we hit that mark because it's not politically popular to have a recession. This is an important talking point. This is something that we should be able to have a conversation about in the community. But again, the more far-fetched we get with this stuff, the harder it is to get people to want to have those discussions. Okay. All right. Yeah, so Russia was doing their test. I thought it was yesterday, but I'll be honest, I haven't kept up with that. I know there was some confusion about like their time zones are different than ours and things like that. Um, yeah, just hanging out, Kentucky. You can get a drink or whatever. You know, you got at least 15 minutes before my head explodes. So appreciate you, by the way. Thanks for popping into that. So that's thing one. Why I think this was important. This is why I decided like I'm going to give up my lunchtime so that I can stream this because I need to. We need to shine some light on these kind of things so that it's I want people who are interested in preparedness and learning about like how to prepare for all these things to have a legitimate place. I'm not saying it doesn't have to be my channel, but like our community to be able to learn these things without it going like way over the top. Okay. Um, why is this test important? Well, if you watched what happened in Hawaii a few weeks ago, there was a lot of complaints that they didn't activate the local emergency broadcast system, and people are mad that they didn't. So people are mad that they didn't, and now people are mad that they're going to. Right? This is the national one, and this one can be pushed through your phone to, and not just the television, not just your radio. Be pushed through to your phone. And I believe I don't have mine set to either one of them set to alerts off, but I believe even with alerts off, this one can be used in that circumstance for a national emergency, right? Like this should have been activated when 9/11 was happening, right? Because those of you who are old enough to remember that, we didn't know what was next, right? So if you remember the sequence of events that day, it was like 4 planes, but then there was like rumors about other stuff that was going on that most of which turned out to be not true. And so, being able to get information out to people is good. And there were people who are isolated that like don't turn on their TV a lot, they don't put on the radio a lot, and some of them were like camping or on retreats, and they didn't even know that was going on. So this is why this exists. People say, well, what good would it do if they told you that a nuclear bomb was about to hit your city in 15 minutes? Well, that's a fair question. Personally, I don't do a lot of preparedness for nuclear preparation. I live in a tier 1 target city. There's a lot of reasons why my city would be one of the top targets. I've gone into that in other streams. Short version is we have a shipping port, we have an Air Force base, we have a Navy weapons depot, and there's a few other interesting things here that I'm not going to talk about on the stream, but it's kind of the worst kept secrets in the world about what exists in Charleston. And so we would be a tier 1 target. We would be absolutely in the first volley of missiles. So I don't have delusions that I'd be able to get out of the area. I really don't. Like we've seen what evacuations look like when there's just a hurricane here. It's not going to be possible. And we don't have a lot of basements here because of we're very low. Like my city is basically at the ocean's level, at ground level is the ocean level. So there's not a lot of basements here. I think everything floods. So I hope it doesn't happen, but I'm pretty much a goner if it does. So what am I going to do? Well, I've got a really old bottle of bourbon that I'll be cracking if that alert comes through. But what if it's something not like that, right? What if it's something like, okay, there's flooding in this part of this state, right? Or there's tsunami, or there's earthquakes. I would want to know that 15 minutes, right? Like that would help me to, maybe it's when I was right about to go out the door and I'm going to say, you know what? I'm not going in today. I'm calling my boss. I'm going to use a personal day or an annual leave day, and I'm going to stay home and be with my family during that emergency. That's a good reason. Maybe there's things that I can prepare for. Maybe I could close up everything, get stuff off the yard, for like, pop-up storm or something like that, trying to think of some smaller examples outside of nukes. And maybe you have some, you can throw them in chat as well. Okay. By the way, if you're just tuning in, welcome to the Non-Pocalypse live stream. I'm going to be live only till about 2:25 or so, and then I got to roll because I'm on my lunch break. But check the chat there, the live chat, and there's a poll at the top for Friday's topic. I haven't narrowed it down yet, so I wanted to get some feedback from the audience on what you all would be interested in. I might cover all those topics at some point, but for this Friday here, I'm kind of open to what people are looking for, and vote on that. Now, if you're watching this on the replay, I know people have been telling me you're having problems with catching the chat. I have no control over that, folks. It is enabled in studio for people to see it. It's a YouTube thing. Sometimes after 12 hours or 18 hours, they will release it. I don't know if it's because they're checking to see if there's anything inappropriate in chat or what, but sometimes it's just not available, and I can't control that. So I apologize. Usually my live stream times are Fridays at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's almost all, unless, I got something going on with my family, I'm almost always live at that time. Okay. And then Tuesdays, I usually release my pre-recorded long videos, usually tutorials, foraging, gardening, stuff like that. All right, let's check your chat again, see how everybody's doing. They set their off their alert signs today for tornadoes mostly. Yeah, and so the state ones usually do test here on Wednesdays as well. I think it's usually like between 11 and 12. Yeah, I guess you don't have to worry about it then, brother. Yeah, we got the Navy Weapons Depot. We got quite a bit going on here. Again, some things that I probably shouldn't talk about, even though it's like the worst kept secrets in the world. There you go, Steve. That's how you do it. So that's how I know Steve's going to be okay. Steve is not going to turn into a zombie today. I don't know. That's a good question, Ace. Or maybe we are. Maybe we did like one of those Mandela effect things where we all just slipped into another timeline and we'd never know it, right? So I guess it's not that bad if you never really know it or feel any pain. Yeah. So Chrome Dome Omega, I thought about like I was gonna, so I've got a green screen here. I thought about like, is there a way that I could do like turn me into a zombie or something like that? But ultimately, I decided I'm going to keep it kind of serious. We're kind of boring here, it's right, non-eventful here. It's a nothing burger. No, Justin, it's supposed to be 2:20, so about 8 more minutes here. 8 more minutes. Um, all right. While we're waiting and while we're chatting, let me scroll back up here and see what y'all put in the poll. See how the voting's going for that. Oh, all right. 56% of you want to know about the YouTuber drama in the prepping world. All right. Well, and that actually extends into the silver stacking world as well. So we haven't done one of those like off topic, and that would be slightly off topic for the channel. I haven't done one of those in a while. I do them periodically, just talking about like what it's like to run a channel and things like that, and the journey and hard things that you encounter. So maybe we'll do that. We'll see how the rest of the voting goes. And those of you who watched Friday's stream, thank you so much. By the way, if you're among the crowd that is disappointed that my head doesn't explode today, please don't forget to put a thumbs down. I do appreciate that because you actually, when you give a YouTuber a thumbs down, that still helps them out in the algorithm. Some of you didn't know that. It's counted as engagement. YouTube itself doesn't actually see any difference between thumbs up and thumbs down unless it's like extremely extreme. And even then, like I saw a video that was trending that had I think 150,000 downvotes. I'll explain what it was in a second. 150,000 downvotes and like 200 upvotes. And what it was is it was a clickbaity video that said tornado takes boat. Some of you might have seen this video. It went viral for a while. And basically it was a view of a harbor and there was a tornado and there was a boat in the harbor, but the tornado never comes close to the boat. So people were ticked off. They clicked on that, obviously wanting to see the boat get smashed up. Never happened. So they gave hundreds of thousands of downvotes and it still trended. So if I've offended your favorite YouTuber who was preaching fear porn, don't forget, give me that thumbs down. I appreciate it. And if you're somebody who just knew this was just a regular emergency alert system and you gave up some of your time, I give you a thumbs up today. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, this is important stuff. It's time to get sensible, folks. It's time to get sensible about preparedness. You can, Steve, you can change your thumbs up. You can make it a thumbs down. It's okay. And sorry, I got a thing running. One of my devices running in the background. I didn't realize midstream ads are on, so I apologize for that. So if it's an ad you like, you can watch it or whatever. But feel free to click off of it, whatever. Sorry about that. We're still alive on the Apple. We're still alive. My head hasn't melted yet. I got about 5 more minutes, and I don't know. Maybe this was all a big mistake. Maybe I should go grab that tinfoil and wrap it around my head now while I have a chance. Throw my phones as far as I can. Destroy my phones. I wonder if anybody out there actually did that. Do you all think anyone out there actually like destroyed their phones today in preparation for this? All right, Kentucky switching to PC. That's smart. You're smart. So tell if I don't make it through this, Kentucky, tell my story. All right, tell my story. Treasure Woman, good to see you. Appreciate you. Where are you tuning in from? It looks like you said it's good evening, so I'm guessing you might be on one of the other parts of the world. What else is going on? So if you watched the video last night, talked about the new 2024 coins are coming in, and there's unfortunately the British Britannias there's a lot of milk spotting that's going on with that. So make up your own decisions about that. Usually they do several presses on coins. Maybe you want to wait till the second or third press, see if they come out a little bit better, or maybe you don't care at all. You know, my friend Austrian Stacker asked, like, why do people even care about this? Well, I'll answer that. For me, if I only was interested in the weight of the silver, I would just buy generic bars or generic rounds, right? But I'm buying a bullion coin because it has not just value as silver, but it has value to that country in terms of its currency value, and it has some collectible artistic value for me. Does it have as much as like something numismatic, some pre-33 gold, things like that? No, but it still has some value to me. So to me, if I buy a coin and it has milk spotting, which by the way has nothing to do with the company that ships it to you. It's the mint that causes that. It happens with the chemical flush in the mint. Then to me, it's like I bought a piece of art and then I get it and it's got a chip in the paint, like a big chip in the paint. So it's annoying. Will it stop me from buying Britannias in the future? No, I will still buy Britannias. A couple of years ago, the Canadian silver leafs had this problem. They got it worked out. The Canadian silver leafs the next year were great. So it happens. But my rant there was, I wish that the mints would be a little bit more proactive in like checking their stuff before it ships out to the consumers who are paying top premium for these coins, right? All right, looks like we got 3 minutes till 3 minutes left in the doomsday clock. What is everybody doing today, by the way? Okay, so Steve is here to watch my head blow up. I hope you're not disappointed, man. Yeah, and I've got two phones and another device going as well. So I don't think so. One of my devices that I was looking at, I don't. It's an iPad. I don't think those alerts will get pushed through to iPads, but that would be interesting. Yeah. See. So now you might have to go. There you go. There's the first one. All right, hang on. All right, hang on. I got you. I'm gonna mute it for a second. All right, that's it. It's done. It's done. So I'm going to read it to you. If you didn't get yours, I got them on both my phones here, and my head didn't explode. This is crazy. Now, by my clock, that was 2 minutes early. I don't know why, but anyways, it says this is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. The purpose is to maintain and improve alert and federal capabilities at the federal, state, local, tribal, and territorial levels, and to evaluate the nation's public alert and warning capabilities. Note: public action. No action is required by the public. And this should say the exact same thing. Yep. Yeah, exact same thing. So, all right. So now I know on the news they said today, please don't call 911 when that thing goes off. Don't call 911. It was just a test. It was just a test. And everybody out there in the prepping community, whether you spread this stuff on Reddit or Facebook or wherever else, you just lost some credibility for your, wherever you came up with this stuff. You lost some credibility. And it's not a matter of like better safe than sorry. It's about using rational, sensible, cognitive, critical thinking skills, fact checking information, and helping our audiences get the best information they can to be prepared. I will tell you though that thing going off 2 minutes early did make me jump a little bit. I'll have to watch that back and see if I jumped on the screen because I was actually waiting for. Right now, it should be going off. So curious, like, did it go off in your area? Let me check chat here, see what you guys got. Shadow Scout Swede, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's got to be for the reservation lands, I'm guessing. Yep, looks like Lee got his. There goes Kentucky's. Looks like everybody's got it. Cool. Maccabees, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, no zombies. Kind of disappointing, isn't it? All right, no worries. Thank you, Kentucky. I'm going to wind this one down in just a second. Jonesy's good to see you too. I'm glad that I'm still here. My head didn't explode, or maybe it did, and we slipped into another Mandela effect dimension. Yeah, it's weird, Sassy. Mine came in 2 minutes early too. So weird. Yep, I did too. I don't know if it showed on the screen, but I jumped a little bit inside because I wasn't ready for it. I know, Steve. I know. We were promised that by some very big channels, weren't we? We were promised that this was the you need to be wrapping your phone in tinfoil, throwing it in the microwave. Don't forget, spend your credit card to get as much preps as you need because tomorrow you won't have to pay your mortgage. All this other nonsense that people were saying. Alert going on in Florida. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like they might have phased it a little bit. Different states might have got it at different times. TV version's just coming in, says Lee. Okay. So there you go, folks. Now in 3 years, within 3 years, they may test it before that, but federally, they're required by federal law to test this at least every 3 years. So when this gets tested again, a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, let's all try to remember that this has happened and to be rational, to use our critical thinking skills, and to not spread fear, right? That's not what the preparedness community is about. We're about prepping so that people aren't afraid, right? But when if we say things like tomorrow afternoon, the aliens are going to land on the White House lawn, right? Uh, there are people who are going to be susceptible to that and they're going to freak out. Which brings me to the last point before I close this out and get back to work. Last point is what's going to be the next doomsday date, right? Like, because that now there's already people who are planning like, oh, well, they didn't do it this time because insert your reason. They knew we were on to them, so they decided not to do the test, right? Or, whatever excuse that these fear porn channels are going to give you. What's going to be the next date? Are they going to say Christmas time? Are they going to say New Year's Eve? Are they going to say, what at the end of October? I've actually heard different dates in October too. Breathe, right? If you're watching this stuff and you see that stuff, breathe. Just because somebody on Facebook or Reddit or 4chan or your favorite YouTuber with 1 million subscribers said it doesn't mean it's factual. Breathe, do your own research, do your fact checking. I guarantee you everybody in our community knows somebody who works in emergency management. I know several, right? Talk to them because they're going to probably have good intel. Don't panic. Preparedness is the exact opposite of panic. That's why we do this. All right. Appreciate you all. Aliens would be kind of fun, wouldn't they? If the aliens ever decided to come and take over, I don't have to get that one yet. If the aliens decided to take over, they probably would do a better job than our current legislators. That being said, I appreciate everybody for joining me today. I do have to get back to work. Sorry. I do have to get back to work. I'll see you Friday for the live stream, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the like. If you hate me now, don't forget to give me a downvote. Appreciate that as well. Keep planting your seeds. Keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge.